The following is brought to you by AgriTrend and the 2012 Farm Forum event.
We're at the 2012 Farm Forum event. We've just finished the banquet. Dave Chilton of Dragon's Den and the author of The Wealthy Barber just got off the stage with all the farmers. Did you have a good time tonight?
It was great. You know, honestly, farmers are my favorite audience. I said to the audience tonight, and I wasn't kidding, it's the first Dragon's Den episode I've missed this year, and it's because it was a farmer's request. I've said no to the other Wednesday night requests. I love the audience. They were great tonight. Really well organized event. Really well done.
You've been into Saskatoon here how many times?
It's crazy. I've spoken here 6 times in the last 12 months, all in this building. So, you know, it's funny. It's like a second home, but business is obviously good out here with the economy booming, for everything from potash to agriculture, and so it's a great province to be coming to.
So you came out of Waterloo, Ontario, and
the farming community.
The farming, yeah. And you can't go very far these days. You're the author of The Wealthy Barber, immensely successful Canadian book, but now everybody knows you as the Dragon's Den guy. So I got to ask you, what's it like to be on the Dragon's Den?
You know what? It's great. I mean, it really is. That you get a lot of attention, and initially I found that a little bit discombobulating. Everywhere you go, people want to get a picture, etc. But you know, once you get used to it, people are so nice, and they have a lot of good business questions. We had so many good pictures this year that the show was a lot of fun to tape. I really enjoyed doing the due diligence process. I can honestly say that in the whole 8 months I've been involved, I don't have a negative comment. The CBC's been wonderful to deal with. The other Dragons have been very generous with their time. I've met a lot of nice pitchers. I've closed good deals. It's been all good.
Oh, that's just fantastic. I'm going to turn the topic back on to what we were discussing tonight, which is economics. And staring forward, our farm customers are all interested in prognostication as to where things are going. What do you see out there? What would you kind of caution us on?
Well, it's interesting because you and I are very much aligned in that we're both very much long-term optimists. We see the long-term trends being good. When you look at the innovation, the creativity people have, we tend to overcome our problems. That being said, I think in the short and medium term, the next 3 to 7 to 10 years, we're going to have some challenges. There's too much debt in the developed world. That's a simple statement of fact. And there's going to be some wealth destruction in dealing with that. I don't know if it'll be debt defaults and what that entails in terms of asset values declining, or whether it'll try to inflate it away, or whether it'll be a combination of the two, but there will be some difficult times. So people have to go back to living within their means, and we have to realize that this is not going to be a smooth ride, and it won't be a happy ending coming here in short order. But I think, again, the long-term trends in agriculture are very good. We do have 7 billion people, and that's a very important statistic to keep in mind. But the complexity of farming, as you know better than anybody, is ramping up. That's a good thing. It's helping us on the yield front, it's helping us on the profitability front for farmers, but there's a lot of information to take in, and that's why groups like yours are flourishing, and it's an interesting time. I said to the group tonight, it's nice to come and speak to the farmers now that they're doing well. I started speaking in 1989 and 1990, and as you well know, there were a lot of farming communities at that point that were really struggling. And it's been a great turn, and hey, good for them, because there are a lot of nice people in the field.
Well, I'm going to ask you kind of a question that bounces off our earlier speaker in the morning. Danny Kleinfelter was here, who is an economist, a farm economist at Texas A&M University. He talked a lot about getting your balance sheet bulletproof. You know, farmers have made money the last number of years here, but even on the personal side, and then relating that back to our farming business, how important is that?
Couldn't agree more with him. Because we could have some external shocks that could tip the economy, and even food prices could suffer because of that. You've got to be a little careful. And you know, even farmers with their conservative nature can get a little carried away during good times. It's human nature. When things are on a rock and roll, you get a little careless, a little bit more aggressive. You extrapolate the short-term trend and assume it's always going to stay that way, but of course it doesn't. At some point it turns, and you've got to maybe lag a little bit in terms of your enthusiasm. Now, that doesn't mean you're turning down all the deals. If adjacent land comes to the market, you've got to have a look, obviously. But little things like, do you need the new piece of equipment, or can you share it? Can you lay all those types of things still have to be analyzed. You have to be a cheap optimist, or as Warren Buffett has said, a cynical optimist. So your basic nature is positive, but each and every decision you look at from the cynic's perspective. I think that's not a bad way to do it, and I think that the expert this morning is right about the balance sheet. You want to keep your debt under control, make sure that you've got your interest rate covered strong. You've got to lock some of the money in.
Because there's going to be some opportunities coming, right?
Absolutely. In fact, that's the one interesting thing, is if you do have a major pullback, the farmers are in good shape from a financial perspective and have access to capital, can exploit some of those to their advantage. There's nothing wrong with taking advantage of other people's tough times. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. Straight that out.
All right, all right. So what did you think of the energy here at the Farm Forum event?
Great.
What's your
I mean,
impression?
honestly, you spoke fantastically well, and I was saying to the crowd, normally when I go in and see the leaders speak, it's not good. In fact, I love going up after most of the leaders because it's an easy thing to do, but you used a lot of humor, and I also thought that your economic talk was very good. And again, you and I are aligned in that we think the long-term trends are positive, but there was a lot of energy here tonight. You know, they're having a lot of fun. They've taken in information. Now they're over the casino. Very well done event. I have no complaints. If you can't speak to this audience, get out of the business. Okay, that's what I would say.
Well, you had a great lineup of fans here, so thanks for coming to the
My
Farm
pleasure.
Forum
A lot of
event. It's
fun.
just
Thanks
awesome
for
having
me.
you here.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.